Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is another update for Cardano. If you saw my video yesterday, you know we're looking for a ending diagonal in either the gray path you see here or the red path. And this is on the daily, looking for completion around the 618 of this impulse to the upside. That's our ideal spot, around 12.75 cents. We might end up a little closer if we take the gray path, but we'll have to see what happens after the next leg down. We either complete on the next leg down, or we get an extension down to around 16 cents, and we expect the red path. It depends where we end here. Now down on the hourly, I went over this a lot yesterday, but just to show you the paths I was considering, I'll put this one. If you see gray in my chart, that's my alternative. But as of right now, expecting this triangle, and then we get an equal length wave, which is what we're looking for in our trade, to the downside from this this wave here. In gray that's the fourth, but in red that's actually the third wave. So when this does finish, it's a really nice trade setup. I thought I might have missed it, but it looks like I might get it again. Depending where our E leg is, it might be around 18 cents. So going down to the hourly, I'll show you what I mean. So yesterday we had the triangle looking like this. And we thought our D wave was over here, and this was possibly our E. But I have changed that count, I did yesterday as well, to switch this to actually a barrier triangle, which means I potentially have not missed this entry, which is a good thing. And I'm happy about that because it had taken off a little bit too far to take a nice trade setup, because our stop had to be up at this E wave here, and we're just potentially targeting this flat correction. So I started looking at these waves today, and if you go down to the 15-minute, I believe we have a double combination here. So this is our W wave down to this point. And we had our X wave up, and we got the minimum requirement extension, which is the 618 here, which validated the barrier triangle. So it switched it up a little bit. And what this looks like to me is a flat for our W wave, 335. And we had our X wave, and this looks like either another flat or most likely a double zigzag, which is perfect, exactly what we're hoping for in the scenario of this barrier triangle. So most likely a double zigzag, ABC, ABC in here, or potentially another flat. But it doesn't look like a 5-wave pattern, because I was worried this was the E and this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it doesn't look like it to me, just because the largest correction area is right in the middle, which is more like a 1-to-1 correction, right? If this was an impulse, we'd expect the third wave to be pretty long, the 1.618 extension, right? So it doesn't quite have the right look as an impulse. So that is good news for the trade setup. It means it's back alive. So right now, looking for this E to come up around the 618 and the 786 of this C wave, but hold above the C wave. So I'm going to put a short at the 50, the 382, the 50, and the 618. My stop is going to be at the high of the C. So if I get the 618, my average trade price will be at the 50. I'm going to put my stop at this C. I'm going to be targeting the 1-to-1 extension, which was around 18 cents, right? We'll go 19 just because I'll probably end up front running it a little bit, which will be around the 1-to-1 extension of that previous wave. So it's a nice setup, about 4-to-1 right now. I've learned myself, this is just what's worked for me, taking a third at 382, 50, and the 618, because sometimes it just ticks the 382 and reverses and goes exactly where you want, and it frustrates you if you miss it and you had your short at like exactly the 618 or the 50. So it's just kept me emotionally stronger, just in cases where I only get 1/3 of my buy entry. At least I'm in the trade, and if I get all three, my average price is the 50. So I personally think it's better to have 3 buys at that area, rather than 1 buy at the 50, because if the retracement doesn't go where you expect, at least you're in the trade most of the time. So this is the trade setup I'm looking for. I'm going to put my shorts at the 3, 250, and the 60, stop at that C wave. Now, one thing I will have to keep in mind, and you'll have to be aware of that too, is the flat pattern I discussed yesterday. And that is, if this becomes an A, B, C, we'd be following this gray path, where we get our A wave as a 3-wave pattern, and this turns into a double combination here, where this might extend down, and we have to be aware at the B wave, expanded B wave area, because this can just make a C wave and then go to the downside. So that's kind of the way we get screwed over in this trade. But as long as you're aware of it, like it might not even break that high original stop, but also we'll be aware to open a potential short from that area to recover that loss. So that's what I'm looking for on Cardano. It's a very good trade setup in my point of view. I'm going to take it, putting my orders in right after I finish making this video. But that's going to be the trade setup, looking for that ABCDE as a barrier triangle, and then we get our 1-to-1 extension to the downside, which is down here. We'll have to pull it whenever we get that E leg, but it's around 18 cents. So that's what we're looking for Cardano. If you want to check out my other setups, make sure to subscribe. I will be updating this one as well, pretty consistently, but it looks good. We've got 3 ticks at the end of this triangle, expecting this last wave up. It looks impulsive, but we should get a 3-wave move and then just a massive amount of thrust to the downside if this is a triangle at the end of this. All right, guys, that's it for Cardano. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.